this not what I wanted? Oh gosh.
Ready? Go ahead, Jax, go.
Oh my god!
What is it?
I don't know. It's a PS5!
Oh my
Oh
god.
my god, I wanted a PC. I want a PC, I don't like this.
What?
I don't want it.
Wait, are you serious right now?
No, we turned it. I don't want it. Be grateful.
You can put the keys back in your purse.
Oh, and I will. And don't ask me for nothing else. Oh, you're going to be happy with that money.
How much is this?
Girl, open it up and stop being ungrateful, because now you starting to be ungrateful where you ain't got to worry about me ever
I never said
again.
I wanted a Tesla. I always told you I wanted a pink Mercedes-Benz.
Okay, well, I couldn't get the Mercedes-Benz, so you
And
got
then
that.
This is all you gave me for my Sweet 16.
Are you grateful?
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 29, verse 15. The rod and the reproof give wisdom, but a child left to himself bringeth his mother to shame. Shalom, shalom, Akim. All right, before I begin, I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and all glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakodash. All right, double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. All right, who rule and teach well. Peace and salutations unto the hopeful elect. All right, I'm the brother Gabar Allah, coming at you with another lesson. All right, and today's lesson is going to be based off the clip that you see before you in the post-production. All right, Salaki, about the the question at the end. I didn't make it. You know, I just got the clip from TikTok. All right, and this really angered me. You know, being an ungrateful child is one of the most heinous things that you can do, being a child. Okay, and this is a lesson going back to the basics. All right, you know, this lesson is going back to the basics. All right, because you know this is something that pertains to being saved, because you know, being a child is when you start to grow. Really, when you're a kid, your mind is so much more observant and absorbs so much more as when you're a kid. All right, that's why, you know, Esau puts you in a you know, in school at such a young age, because that's when you really start to learn, and that's when your brain starts to rewire itself. All right, and part of being, you know, in this Israelite, being an Israelite, okay, is being a respectful man, all right, and being a disciplined man, all right, but it all stems from your childhood, all right. That's why a lot of brothers have accounts with having grown up in a rough childhood, all right, in a so-called rough childhood, you know, and when a father is disciplining you, that's one of the greatest forms of love that you can have, you know, and Yahweh, the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, is disciplining us in this ministry, all right. And that's one of the greatest forms that the Heavenly Father could give us, you know, of love. That's one of the greatest forms of love that the Heavenly Father can give us, is discipline. All right, tough love, if you will. All right, but these kids that you see in the clip, these kids, they don't have that, you know, and I want you to notice something. All right, and the clips that were played, I believe all of them, there was only the woman. All right, you heard a woman's voice, you heard a female's voice, you know, being the mother. All right, which leads me to believe that either the mother is in charge. All right, either the mother is in charge, or the father's not around to be in charge. You know, either way, the mother, you know, you're supposed to respect both. Obviously, you respect your mother and your father, but ultimately, you know, being a child, you're going to fear your father a lot more. You know, you're going to fear your father a whole lot more than you are ever going to fear your mother. All right? Because, you know, the voice of a man is deeper than the voice of a woman, and the masculinity of a man, the power of a man, is stronger than that of a woman. All right, so it is most certainly a man's job to discipline the child. All right, now a woman, obviously, the mother can discipline the child as well. Okay, but, ultimately it's best that the father does it because the child is more likely to obey. Okay? But that's why I opened up with the book of Proverbs, chapter 29, verse 15. It says, the rod and reproof give wisdom. All right? So when you're getting reproofs, when you're getting, disciplined, all right, when your father is getting on you for something, you have to take it because ultimately your parents, they just want what's best for you. Ultimately, the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shema Shai, gave the woman a loving nature, to raise you, all right, to provide for you. All right, that's why there's the saying of what's that saying? Salaki. I forget the saying, but pretty much involves, women having love for their children, all right? But the father, all right, gives a form of love that a woman could never, all right? And that's in the form of discipline, okay? And it says, but a child left to himself bringeth his mother to shame, right? All right, so when a child is doing whatever he wants to do, when a child is acting however he wants to act, has no discipline whatsoever, that child is going to bring forth shame to the household, all right? And it's true. You have accounts of this every day. How many times have you seen a child act up and you think, damn, the parents did a fucked up job? The parents are lousy parents, okay? The parents are lousy parents because when the child just reflects how, or most of the time, the child can reflect what the parents have done. And what I mean by that is in terms of discipline. All right. So this applies, to any newer Akim, who are listening to this, and you Akwat as well, you brothers and you newer sisters, who are, really, really just starting to get into this truth, this ministry. One of the biggest things that you have to be is respectful to your parents. A lot of Jake is disrespectful as hell to your fucking parents. It's like to your parents. All right. You are disrespectful to your parents. All right, when your parents, your mother and your father have gave up everything for you, and you are disrespectful. All right, and Yahweh Shemi Al-Shai hates that. All right, real quick, I'm going to grab the book of Ephesians, chapter 1 and verse, Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 1. Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor thy father and thy mother, which is the first commandment with promise. All right, so it is a commandment to honor your mother and to honor your father. Okay? This is a commandment. All right, and what does it mean by honoring them? Right, when they tell you to do something, you do it. Ultimately, if they ask you to go against, the word of the Heavenly Father, obviously, obey the words of the Lord. Okay, but when it comes to, things of this world and, things of this nature, your parents are still your parents. All right? Your parents are still your parents. So you have to obey them and you have to honor them. Okay? Yes, your parents can be wicked. Okay, your parents may not believe in this truth, may not believe in this faith, but they are still your parents, and that is still a commandment to honor them. Stop being disrespectful to your parents. All right? It says that it may be well with thee, and thou mayest live long on the earth. And thy fathers reprove not your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nature and of dominion of the Lord. All right, when it means reprove not your children to wrath, it means don't be too hard on your kids. Give them tough love, but ultimately, you can't be breaking their back either. You can't be giving them so damn much things that they can't even fulfill them. In this society, you can't expect to tell a 12-year-old, hey, it's time to pay rent. It's what is the child going to do? You can't kick out the child when he's 12. All right. But, I just really wanted to make this lesson, man, because, a lot of Jake is disrespectful to your parents, man. My father is a very strict man, okay? A very strict man. He's not necessarily austere, but he's strict in the sense that when he wants something done right, okay? And when you don't do it right, he will discipline you, All right, so your fathers, really help shape you to the man that who you are now. All right, if your father is a hardworking individual and you see that and he disciplines you the right way, you will become a hardworking individual. All right, and a lot of brothers, have fathers who are like that. The elder Apostle Gabar mentions a lot his father, and you can tell that the elder Apostle Gabar absolutely respects his father and honors his father, and that's an elder apostle. All right, so, Lord willing, it was edifying, man. Lord willing, it, to the newer, actually, matter of fact, let me get one more. Let me get one more because I really want to get the point across. All right, this is the book of Colossians, chapter 3. And I'm going to start at verse 17. And whatsoever ye do in word or deed, do in all the name of the Lord Yahushai, giving thanks to power, the Father by him. Verse 18, wives, submit yourselves unto your husbands, as it is fit in the Lord. Husbands, love your wives and be not bitter against them. So notice how there is order. Okay, the Heavenly Father made the wife obey the husband. The Heavenly Father makes the husband not be bitter towards the wife, right? Meaning to love his wife, right? To protect, to provide for the wife. But the wife also has her parts to do to submit unto the husband. You can't be a wife and, be disobedient to your husband. If your husband tells you something, it's for your own benefit. Okay? And it says, verse 20, children, obey your parents in all things, for it is well-pleasing unto the Lord. Right? It is well-pleasing unto the Heavenly Father. All right? When you are a disciplined and you are a respectful young man. All right? Because ain't nothing worse than a disrespectful little brat. Nothing worse than that. So Lord willing was edifying. Lord willing was uplifting. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai by Hashem Kakwadash. Double honor to the elders and apostles, great millstone, Haru and Tetrell. Peace and salutations unto the hopeful elect. Shalom.